Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, great. Okay, so first of all, let me just say hello, everyone, and just thank you so much for this opportunity. When I first heard about Pakistan Dreaming, I was very excited. It's my first experience of really Salesforce in Pakistan and getting an insight into the Salesforce community at Pakistan. So for me, it's a real privilege to be invited to talk to you today. So I'm just going to spend a few minutes just talking a little bit about my journey with Salesforce, how I first kind of came in touch with Salesforce, what I've been doing with Salesforce, and also talk a little bit about the opportunity with Salesforce as well. Maybe hopefully encourage others to also take up that journey and really develop a career with Salesforce. So first of all, I just wanted to say thank you. Really just thank you for being our trailblazers, and basically you're the community that really inspires us and makes our job worth it and makes our time kind of, mean something as well. And seeing how this community is developing in Pakistan gives me a lot of pride personally as well. So hopefully I can spend some time over the next 20 minutes, and sharing my experiences that maybe inspire others as well to go down a similar path that I have been. And really also from speaking from the perspective of somebody who works at Salesforce, we're very much committed to being your partner and working together with you as well. So what I wanted to start with was just a little bit about my journey, and just give you a little bit about my experiences as well. So I grew up in London, but my family originally from Pakistan, actually from Sialkot. I had been there a number of times. Growing up in London in the 80s was a very interesting place. I was very fortunate to be able to go to university. I went to Cardiff University and studied business management. But after leaving university, I thought, okay, what do I need to do now? I need to start a career and so on. And at that time, in the 80s, particularly in the late 80s, early 90s, technology was obviously kind of really emerging, and it was very much the early days of technology. This was way before Salesforce, so the big 90s. So I then decided to go back to university and actually kind of really focus on technology. So I did a master's in computer science. After completing my master's, I then joined a very small software house, development house, and essentially became a computer programmer. And that was really my first experience of working within technology, understanding computers as well. I realized very quickly that I wasn't a very good computer programmer. And I actually found it quite challenging, and it wasn't really my passion, but I wanted to stay within technology. So I then decided to slightly change career tracks, and I became what is known as a pre-sales consultant. For those that aren't familiar with a pre-sales role, essentially we work with salespeople, but we are the technologists that help future customers, understand the technology and how it will solve their business challenges. So we answer all the technical questions. We deal with things like how will our technology integrate with your existing architecture, how it will deliver value for your business and your processes and so on. So it was still very much technology focused, but it allowed me to move away from the programming side, which I wasn't particularly good at, and get into more of the sales side of things, but with the technology angle. So I stayed at Strategic Software, which was an ERP software house. And ERP, for those that aren't familiar, is all around manufacturing and warehouse and distribution computer systems. So the types of computer systems that businesses use to run their production lines and their facilities and their distribution. I stayed there for many years, but what happened then is that there was the rise of CRM technology. And in that time, for those that are familiar, Siebel were the big technology vendor in the market for CRM. So I decided to make a move from ERP and move into CRM. So I joined a computer consultancy that specialized in Siebel, but I stayed within the pre-sales side of the business. But what happened with Siebel, quite interestingly, is that we kept getting beaten by a new competitor, and that competitor was Salesforce. So every time we would go and compete for a customer's business, because it was a very competitive sales environment that we were operating in. every time we would try and engage with a customer, Salesforce were in there, and they were offering something that was very new and very disruptive. While we were very much a server, kind of very traditional software solution, with lots of hardware, it's all on-premise hosted. Salesforce came along with something very new called cloud computing. And at that time, cloud computing for business was something that was pretty unknown and very rare. Cloud computing was something for the consumer web, things like Google and Amazon. It wasn't really thought of as something that was ready for business, mainly because IT departments were very protective of their software environments, and they didn't want to risk putting business processes over the web. However, Salesforce came along with this brand new business model, cloud computing, and the multi-tenant business model, and customers loved it. They loved the idea that they didn't have to host lots of technology. They didn't have to manage all of their upgrades. They didn't have to manage their security. And very quickly with on-premise software, it gets out of date very quickly. You need a lot of technical skills to manage your infrastructure. So, and I was getting fed up of getting beaten all the time. So I decided at that time, and this was around 2007, to make the move from Excedo, and I joined Salesforce at that time, which was a big move for me at the time. Very excited, because Salesforce was still quite an unknown software company. It was still relatively small compared to the size of it now. But I thought this was the new and upcoming technology, so let me make that switch. So this was back in about 2006, 2007. And at that time, Salesforce in the UK, where I'm based, was a very small company. Globally, it was probably around 2,000 employees, so still very small. But joining Salesforce at that time was a very exciting experience. And that was mainly because it was a new business model of cloud computing. It was growing incredibly fast. We were having lots of really interesting conversations with customers. And the most important thing, we were solving business challenges for lots of organizations. And they wanted to talk to us, and it was a very exciting time, and the other, I think, really amazing thing about Salesforce, and the thing that really captured my imagination, was the innovation. And being somebody that was very passionate about technology, Salesforce kind of ticked that completely. The focus on innovation, the 3 upgrades a year, listening to the community as well. Things like the App Exchange, they were very innovative and very new. Nobody else was doing anything like that at all. And it was such an exciting environment, because every day we were learning something new. Every day the technology was growing. We moved from just having a sales product very quickly into having service. And then what for me was one of the most exciting things was then we moved into platform as well, and delivering incredible platform solutions for customers that was fundamentally declarative. So using clicks rather than having to write code to solve their business problems. So I found that incredibly exciting. And very quickly, with the incredible growth of Salesforce, lots of new opportunities came along. And one of the other really, I think, very cool things about it was the growth of the community. We call them Trailblazers now. Back then, we didn't have that word, Trailblazers. But very quickly, a community of developers and an ecosystem around Salesforce grew. And that was partly driven by the App Exchange and lots of ISV solutions. But it was also around individuals just loving the technology and finding it really easy to use to solve really difficult business challenges, and without all of the overhead of having to host the technology yourself. So you don't have to worry about the infrastructure, you didn't have to worry about managing servers, lots of different versions. It was really simple, and it took so much complexity away from businesses and allowed them to focus on the most important value drivers for their business, which is the customer experience. The other amazing opportunity I had at Salesforce was to develop my career. And this is something that obviously we're really going to focus in on now. And that's something I'm very passionate about. I'm very passionate about the community, also using Salesforce as a vehicle to grow and develop careers. So as I said, I started off as a solution engineer within Salesforce, but very quickly I moved into management, and my opportunities in management and opportunities within Salesforce were incredible. And those were both opportunities within the company, but also within the ecosystem as well. Because very quickly, as I mentioned earlier, the ecosystem moved from very small, companies developing on our platform to, lots and lots of companies, literally thousands of companies, organizations across the world, lots of developers, building applications, customizing Salesforce as well. So those opportunities and the career opportunities within Salesforce grew incredibly. And my own personal journey allowed me then to move from being what we would call at Salesforce an individual contributor, so somebody responsible for a specific role. In my case, it was a pre-sales consultant. Very quickly moved into solutions management, and then from solutions management to the point I am now in my career. So at this current time, I'm a vice president at Salesforce, responsible for solutions. So my role now, I'm responsible for making sure we present and position the right solutions for our customers. I think it's one of the most important jobs at Salesforce, but also one of the most fun and engaging jobs as well, because I get to travel, meet lots of really interesting people, talk to hundreds and hundreds of different customers and businesses, ranging from very small businesses to some of the largest companies in the world, and talk to them about their business challenges, their business problems, and how Salesforce can help them. So that's a really exciting role that I currently have within Salesforce. And what I'm also really proud to see is that growth of the Trailblazers and the focus that we have at Salesforce in our Trailblazers as well, with the growth of things like Trailhead, with summits such as this. It's incredible how we're now engaging and working with the ecosystem and really growing, I think, a really exciting community around Salesforce. So I just wanted to give you a kind of highlight of my journey. I hope that was interesting. If anyone would like to know a little bit more about that, please reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'll be very happy to connect, particularly with with the Pakistani community. I'm so proud that we are doing this event exists. I told many colleagues about this and at Salesforce, and many of them wanted to be part of this. And but very fortunately, I was selected. So I'm very excited and very proud to be on this call today. I do have a few more slides. What I also wanted to kind of talk about was one of the other things I'm very passionate about at Salesforce, and something that Salesforce has allowed me to really get involved in, is the responsibility we believe we have back to our community and to all of our stakeholders. And this is where I think Salesforce is very different from other businesses. Many other businesses believe their responsibility is primarily to their shareholders, and then their customers and employees. But within Salesforce, we have a much wider perspective. We also believe we have responsibility to the communities that we live in, and even the planet. For example, sustainability is now a core value for all of us at Salesforce, because we believe, it's the responsibility of businesses to use their platform to drive positive change, to build a better future for everyone. Something also that I've been very proud to be part of at Salesforce is something we call our 1-1-1 model, where we are committed to giving back to our communities through our 1-1-1 model. And this is where we pledge 1% of our time, of our equity in our product to philanthropic efforts. So over the past 23 years or so, Salesforce employees have actually given over 7 million volunteer hours, over 575 million in grants to charitable organizations, and free or discounted services to over 50,000 non-profits, educational institutions, and philanthropic organizations alone as well. And also what's incredible is that more than 17,000 different countries from over 70,000 different companies from over 100 countries have also joined our pledge 1% movement. So combined, we've given away the equivalent of more than $2 billion worth of time, equity, and products. It's something I'm really proud of to be part of, and also something that I think has really driven my that driven me to kind of stay at Salesforce, because this is something I think quite unique within the business. From a personal perspective, I've also been involved with some Pakistani organizations as well as part of our 111 model. So it's something I'm very proud of too. Also, and I think I've mentioned this a few minutes ago, the focus on our Trailblazers, the focus on the Salesforce community. And I think this is something that hopefully will give some people encouragement on this call to kind of invest in their Salesforce skills and build their careers around Salesforce, is the growth of the Salesforce ecosystem as well. Because of the widespread adoption, the success of our customers, our technology has powered a Salesforce economy, which would actually create 1.56 trillion in new business revenue by 2026 and lead to the creation of over 9 million jobs. And this is according to the IDC, which is a leading market intelligence firm as well. So I mentioned our values earlier when I talked about sustainability, but our number one value at Salesforce is actually trust. Because we like to think of Salesforce as more than just a business. We believe we're an economy of trust. So when our customers choose to work with Salesforce, when our partners choose to work with our Salesforce in the community, like and many of you today choose to work with Salesforce, you've become part of this incredible community. And what it does, it's about our responsibility in that community is to equip you and the people and the companies with the skills that you need to succeed, becoming more flexible, adaptable, and resilient to what the future begins. So again, that's something incredibly exciting. So again, just kind of reiterating what I kind of said already, because we have been successful, and our platform has been successful, we're incredibly thrilled with that. And I think more importantly, we're thrilled with the success of our Trailblazer community and what, you have all been able to achieve over the years as well, because I think, fundamentally our values have driven that and driven our focus to that community as well. So we're very proud of this category here. We're proud to be a leader in innovation, which all of you are integral to and critical to as well. We're proud, incredibly proud that, our focus in philanthropy, services as well, our focus on culture as well. One of the awards that Salesforce has received is the People's 100 Companies That Care. We have a huge focus in equality as well within our business as well. So while as a company we've been able to do financially, what's integral to that and integral to me and things that are important to me is that we've been able to do that while staying true to our core values and still being able to do that and do good as well. So becoming a leader in philanthropy, culture, innovation, and all of that, fundamentally all of that is down to our Trailblazers and what our Trailblazers give back to the community, back to Salesforce as well. So fundamentally, that's what it is all about. So finally, just the last word for me, just a huge thank you again. Thank you for this opportunity. Hopefully what I said has been of some interest to you, to those that are joining us today. A huge thank you, especially I think for the community in Pakistan to work on Salesforce. You are what the word Trailblazer means. That it could not be written for a more appropriate community than I think the Salesforce Pakistan community as well. I mean, I'm absolutely thrilled that this exists. Hopefully, inshallah, that I get to come to Pakistan very soon. I have plans to, so hopefully I can meet some of the Salesforce community in Pakistan when I come over. You are a huge inspiration to all of us as well. So hopefully this time was of value. If you'd like to connect with me, please do so on LinkedIn. I'm happy to answer any questions and connect as well. So we are at Salesforce committed to being your partner and working together in the days and years ahead. So thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thanks to you as well, Ansar. The presentation was extremely motivating for me, and I'm sure it was for everybody else as well. Because being on this part of the, this part of the quite far away from the main active communities that are in the US or in the UK. It's
Sure.
always a struggle. It has been a struggle for me personally to be able to connect and to be able to understand the whole bigger picture of Salesforce. But the reason for such sessions is that whoever is, trying to transition to Salesforce, they can understand that it is just not a CRM. It's way beyond that. It's the giving back culture that Salesforce has cultivated. I haven't seen that anywhere else. Somebody asks a question in the Trailblazer community, within minutes, people are there to help them out, and everybody is there
Mm,
to succeed collectively. And then the responsibility toward the planet and using the platform as a chain, you know, agent for change, basically. That's a
absolutely.
lot, and we don't see that often with other businesses. So thank you very much for joining us.
It was a
Um,
pleasure. Thank you.
and we would love to host you in Pakistan maybe next
I
year.
will, yeah, inshallah, we are coming end of this year. So, yes, absolutely. It would be lovely to meet yourself and some of the community.
Brilliant. Thank you, Ansar. So I'll like to move towards our panel of trailblazers now. So they are here to share their journeys so they can help motivate all of us again. What does it mean to be a trailblazer? And anybody who is just starting out or is, struggling with a lot of information that's out there to digest and get to terms with. Their journeys are a testament that you can achieve anything with consistency. So I'll like to call upon first Mudassir. So Mudassir, can you please unmute and
Yeah,
sure, thank
can you
you.
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Thanks, Rutulan. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, as per your time zone. And thank you so much for taking out the time, especially on weekend. I know it's not easy. Let me give you a quick introduction. My name is Mudassir Ahmed, and currently I'm working as an associate Salesforce developer at Cloud Junction with zero certification. Yes, we can easily get a job without any certification. Mostly, it's not like necessary to get to get a certification and then apply. And these are few. Let me share my slides. Just a minute. So these are a few points, steps around which my Salesforce journey revolves. It all started last September when I studied about cloud computing in my university, and since then I got into it. Like I start searching about what is a software as a service. Then I got to know about CRM. Then I got to know about Salesforce. Then I start searching how to learn Salesforce. Then I found like ASM. I enrolled myself into ASM, and for those who don't know about it, it's just similar to Talent Stacker, where you trained on two certification, basically on admin and app builder. Because starting on this platform on Salesforce, you must have that declarative knowledge, point and click tool. And this ASM program is led by Mohammed Faisal, who is a certified instructor. And in January, I started doing personal branding on LinkedIn, which helped me a lot by creating short videos regarding Salesforce, data management, data modeling, or you would say like customizing like just a login page. In these videos, like whatever I was learning from ASM, I was sharing it on LinkedIn. And at that time, it was not common to upload videos on LinkedIn. And by doing so, I got a very good, very good response, through which I started getting many opportunities, and I availed one of them. I worked as a Salesforce business analyst slash admin for 5 months, and now I'm working as a I'm working in a Cloud Junction as a Salesforce developer. And in the end, I would like to highlight some uh, key factors which helped me a lot throughout this journey, although my journey is still going on. So these are a few learning sites: Salesforce Hull, Salesforce Epics Hours. From these are two YouTube channels from where you can learn about admin side as well as app builder side. And Salesforce Ben if you are into documentation. So you can check it out, and where you can also learn about different clouds as well. And apart from Salesforce, you can also learn about MuleSoft, Slack, and Copado. The other thing is, which I really like about personal branding. So those who are confused about how to market themselves, they can watch videos of Hamas Siddiqui. He is like, he can teach you how to optimize your LinkedIn, how to attract the recruiters, and how to like approach the recruiters, that stuff. And the other one is David. Like, he's the most, I guess he's the most famous person in the Salesforce ecosystem. So like from his videos you can learn about different clouds as well, and you can also learn how to brand yourself as a Salesforce professional on LinkedIn, and start getting opportunities. And the third one is Jordan. Like, he's just an admin, but he has more than, like, I guess 60,000 followers on LinkedIn. So do check his articles and blogs too. So that's my journey so far. So if you have any question or if you want any help, to do reach out to me. I will be like very happy to help you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mudassir. I really appreciate that you took the time to put together all of these details, and I'm sure it would be extremely helpful for everyone. I would just have one question for you, Mudassir.
Sure. Sure.
Anybody who's just starting out, consider yourself maybe 6 months, 7 months ago. What
Okay.
would be your advice to those people? One piece of advice that they can act on to make their journey maybe easier or better to say.
Like, just starting out. So I
Yeah.
would say it's personal branding. Personal branding is the thing which helped me a lot. Like, I got an internship, I got many opportunities from personal branding by just doing personal branding. If you're learning anything about Salesforce, just share it on LinkedIn. So like, people are willing to hear from you. That what I think, and that helped me a lot by doing so.
That's excellent advice, Mr. Sir. Thank you very much. It's really
Thanks a lot.
important that whenever you are learning something new, make sure you are not siloed and not just on your own. Talk about it so people who are just starting out, like you were some time ago, they can get help from that, and you can get noticed, of course. And because there are so many similar professionals out there, what really sets you apart is initiative. So start taking initiative today. Thank you, Mudassir, for joining
Thanks a
us.
lot.
So up next we have Rimsha with us. Rimsha, would you like to please come on and share your journey with us? Thank you. Seems like Rimsha is having some technical difficulties. So we can wait for a bit. Rimsha, Rabia, would you like to come over instead?
Sure, sure.
Thank you. Over to you, Rabia.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Rabia, and I'm currently working as an application engineer with Urdu Apps. My journey into Salesforce is quite interesting. I'm just gonna share my slideshow. Just give me 1 second, please.
Sure, take your time.
Sorry about that. I was speaking and I realized I was muted. So can you guys hear me? Um,
We
this is how my story started in Salesforce. In around 2019 was the first time I heard about what Salesforce is, when somebody actually recommended it to me. And I was at that point in time saying to myself, like, what are you talking about? Like, I can't even code to save my life. Like a cloud-based computing thing, I can't do that. But I started looking into it because it was quite interesting to know that they were trying to create a lot of jobs at that point in time. About, I think, what I remember, it was like 3.5 million at that point in time by 2025. So I did a deep dive into it, tried to learn more about it, and then I was like, yeah, I don't know, maybe this isn't for me. So a little bit about my background. Um, by education, I'm a lawyer, and by profession, I'm a sports management professional. Basically, I work with athletes and contracts. I used to work with athletes and contracts and sponsorships. So it was basically an amalgamation of sports and law, and that's what I was doing for the past 6 years. When COVID hit in 2020, and it hit Pakistani sports industry pretty badly. We already have a very small sports community, but it was pretty bad all around the world. So, I started looking at alternative careers, and Salesforce, kept popping up everywhere I used to look. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna just really log on to a Trailhead and do a few badges, and at the same time, I'm gonna start to reach out to people. The community was really good. I met a lot of really amazing people who I'm still friends with, who really guided me and helped me along my journey. So what really piqued my interest about Salesforce was that Salesforce was being used by a lot of sports entities, as well as a lot of law, by the law fraternity as well. So I was like, okay, so maybe I could, look into those particular niches eventually. I do have this expertise, might as well use it with Salesforce. And I started talking to more and more people. And a lot of people encouraged me. Some were a little hesitant. They were like, you don't have a technical background. How are you going to proceed? How are you going to progress in this career path? You really need to know a lot of technical things to sort of, grow and progress. That sort of like initially discouraged me a little bit. And I started contemplating whether this was going to be a good move for me or not, a career change where I'm going into some place where maybe I won't be able to really progress much. Again, I went back and forth in my decision because it was just like, is this really for me? And what happened in that process was everywhere I used to look, most of the people I used to speak to were either looking at a Salesforce, working for Salesforce in some capacity, or just involved in something related to Salesforce. And I kept saying like, somebody actually said to me that this is a sign. Because I remember I was at the airport and I saw this person in front of me who was wearing this Salesforce hoodie and a Salesforce bag. And I'm like, wow, okay, now I see this at the airport as well. Like, that's what's going on here. And then I said, okay, fine, this is really a sign. I started really doing all the badges that I could. And I started, again, talking to more and more people, started looking for work and hands-on experience because that's something that I really, really wanted to do. And in late 2021, I sort of got a little bit of a break with a consulting company based in the US. It was a short-term contract, but I really got to know a lot about how the industry is actually working, what the work involves, and what I can do to, contribute with the skills I already have. After that, I worked for a company where I got to use Salesforce as an end user. And that was an experience in itself as well. Like, how are people actually using Salesforce? I mean, I understand the back end. How are people actually using it? And how is it actually helping, like the impact that it actually has on people? From there, I was like, okay, yeah, this is really the career for me. This is a sign. I'm going to take it and I'm going to do something about it. And then I applied for work at Urdu Apps, and lucky for me, I got it. And I'm blessed to have an amazing team in an amazing support system where I get to learn every day. And this is something I really like about the community, is that they're very supportive, they guide you, they push you to succeed. And it's really, really, really amazing. This is my advice to a lot of people. Be ready to make yourself uncomfortable, because that's when you really will learn. For me, I went back and forth in my decision to start working on Salesforce because I was not really ready to make myself so uncomfortable where I'm in a completely new environment, which is very new to me. But this is something that I think is very important, that we need to, for us to grow, we need to learn. Trailhead is your best friend. Give it the time and the attention it needs. Just don't do the badges for the sake of doing badges, but do them, learn, and move forward to the next one. And reach out to the community. You meet amazing people, and that's how I've met like most of the people that I know right now. Amazing people, community from the community, and yeah, that's basically where I am right now, O2 Apps, and working with some really amazing people. Um, Thank you for the opportunity and for allowing me to be part of this, because I really wanted to share my experience with everybody, because it's not like a traditional path for me that I've taken, and I really wanted to share this with everybody. So thank you, Pakistan Dreaming, thank you, Kurat, and for all the support and for everything.
Thank you, Rabia. Um, Excellent journey so far. And I just love the part where you said you just kept on seeing signs that you have to start doing Salesforce. Um, that's awesome. And I think one thing to know about journeys in Salesforce is that no two journeys are the same. If you see somebody doing something, don't pressurize yourself into thinking that you have to follow the same exact path, and don't give in to comparing your somebody's day 1000 with your day one, which is just a disservice to yourself. So pace yourself, go as you can. Don't worry too much. Reach out to the community, and also for Sumaya mentioning about job opportunities. Ordo is actually participating in the job fair today starting at 3 p.m. So don't miss out on applying there. I hope you get the job, Sumaya. That's great. Thank you, Rabia, again for joining us. So
Thank
I'll move over to Rimsha now. Rimsha, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Let me share my screen. Okay. So, hello everyone. It's Rimshamin, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today. So, we appreciate your time on the Saturday afternoon. It's a weekend after all. Um, Me myself, let me introduce myself. Salim Shami. I'm part of the app development team at Cloud Junction Advisors. Being a developer, we develop different connectors and the integrations. And also, I'm a certified admin and maintaining 35th rank on the answer leaderboard in the Trailblazer community. It's a Trailhead community also. So I'm here to talk about my Salesforce journey that I had for last 8 months when I first started learning Salesforce, and it's all about when I got to know about Salesforce. So I would like to tell you from where I started and now where I am, how I am doing, with some recommendations to the trailblazers that they are starting their career in Salesforce, and there are a lot of people who want to start and want to switch their career into Salesforce, like different technologies. They approach me on LinkedIn that is it possible? Not, it is totally possible. So, well, how it started. My journey began in the last October in the last year 2021 when I saw a post about the Salesforce. That's the number one CRM on LinkedIn. And being a curious person, being a curious student of a third year university student, I researched about it, like what it is and how it works. And I found that I can learn more about Salesforce on that Trailhead, and I started learning. Then, in case someone doesn't know about Trailhead, it's a brilliant resource provided by the Salesforce where you can learn in and outs of the Salesforce and the complementary in demand skills. So, and you can prepare for your Salesforce certifications. Being a third year student and the full time employee at Cloud Junction Advisor, it wasn't easy for me to continue self learning, but I made it possible. But yeah, it wasn't easy. I couldn't able to make time for the self learning. So, but I prepared for my first certification, and I also became ranger. That's the highest rank on that trailhead. Or Throughout this journey, I found some best resources to learn. Like there are some mistakes I did, but I really don't want someone else to go and do the same. So there are some best resources. That's obviously our number one is a Trailhead. But yeah, I've already discussed about Trailhead, like how we can learn, how we can do modules or different trails on that Trailhead. That's a great way that I chose, and I'm following right now too. I'm still learning. And then when after learning admin, what I thought that I should get a certification. I should be a certified Salesforce admin. Then I researched and found that focus on force. That is a here we can find realistic and latest practice exams, study guides. It offers it offers for different Salesforce credentials like admin, advanced, app builder, and lot of certifications, and you can find like whatever you are doing. The third one, I really don't personally experience this, but I have a great suggestions and people recommended this one. That is a Trailhead Academy. So this is the paid one, and it is a place where you can sign up and for either in person or online Salesforce training classes led by Salesforce or authorized instructors all over the world. So when I started, I just focused on the learning from where I can learn, what I can learn, and like what should I do. That's what the confusing, the most confusing era of my career, the starting 3 or 4 months. Like it was not easy for me. Then what I'm doing right now, my current career path, where I'm and what's on what technologies I'm working on. So it's still Salesforce, but the path is the current path is the development. Well, I was a good coder, and I chose the development path as compared to admin. And now I'm working on cutting edge technologies, on the integrations with external systems. Like there are multiple architects in my team. I'm working with them. I'm learning from them and growing in a better way as a Salesforce developer by understanding multiple systems and how we can integrate them with the Salesforce. Like to understand both of the systems, the schemas, and the uh, different processes they are working on. It's not easy, like, but I'm doing because I'm a Salesforce developer and I want to be a good developer. Now in the different schema there were a lot of time when I stuck badly, but now I'm good with the great concepts. And being a developer, I want to learn and grow more in this area. But you first you have to strong your concepts, your admin concepts, because Salesforce is more of a point and click tool. That's why. And another thing that I became a ranger and I got my first certification after all of this. What I would like to recommend the newbies are going to start their career and in the Salesforce and switching their career to Salesforce is never give up on the personal learning. That that is something that is not easy with the job, with the education, but yeah, that is something that can make you different from others, and a more successful developer or admin or whatever career path you are going to choose. But go ahead, get your certifications, get certified, but don't forget to the learning path, the ecosystem. It's recommended that you stick with learning journey. That's pretty much it. Thank you.
Thank you, Rimsha. Thanks a lot for sharing your journey with us. I really appreciate you mentioning that there are hiccups along the way, but if you don't give up, you will end up somewhere. And I really appreciate that you started out so early, even when you were still, you didn't graduate yet, but you were exploring different avenues that you can learn from. And that's the best part about being a curious person, that you never settle for monotony. You're always looking for something better to do. So I'm glad that you have support now. You're working and still learning. So thank you very much for joining us today, Ramsha.
Thank you.
And I see everybody helping each other out in the chat, so thank you for doing that, everyone. Um, are there any questions for any of our panelists? Please ask them now, or else I'll just go ahead and
If I could say something, I think this is a fantastic initiative that you have taken. We need more of this in Pakistan. I'm pretty glad. I'm glad that this has already started. More people can learn more about Salesforce because I know like 3 years ago when I started looking into it, um, couldn't really find much about it within Pakistan. So I think this is fantastic, and you guys are doing an amazing job.
thank you very much, Rabia. And just so everybody knows, we have another journey panel later in the day with another exceptional set of panelists, trailblazers. So do join us if you want. Thank you everyone for your time. See you in another session. Bye.